They say if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere, and by all visible measures, Ethan Miller had made it. At 29, he was a senior product manager at one of the biggest tech firms in Manhattan. His salary had 6 figures, his apartment overlooked the skyline, and his Instagram was a highlight reel of rooftop dinners, gym selfies, and weekend getaways. He wore success like armor-tailored suits, polished shoes, a perfect smile hiding an exhaustion he never dared admit. Every morning, Ethan would blend into the crowd of dream chasers on the subway, coffee in one hand, phone in the other, eyes glued to screens. Life felt fast, loud, and hollow. The city that once symbolized opportunity now felt like a treadmill he was running hard but getting nowhere. One rainy Tuesday morning, everything changed. Ethan was rushing to a meeting, umbrella flipping inside out in the wind, when he saw a homeless man trying to protect a small dog from the rain. The man's jacket was soaked, hands trembling, but he held the dog close, using his own body as shelter. Ethan stopped. For the first time in months, he really looked at someone not as background noise, but as a person. Without thinking, he handed the man his umbrella and the coffee he hadn't touched. The man smiled faintly. "Thank you, you're the first person who stopped all day." Ethan nodded, but the words hit him like lightning. The first person who stopped all day, in a city of millions chasing dreams. Nobody had time to see one another. That night, as Ethan scrolled through emails and deadlines, his reflection in the dark window stared back like a stranger. He had everything yet felt nothing. A quiet voice inside him whispered, "You build a life people envy, not a life you love." The next morning, he didn't go to work. He called his boss, heart pounding, and said 6 words that terrified him more than anything: "I think I need to quit." There was silence on the line. His boss thought it was burnout, told him to take a vacation. But Ethan wasn't burned out. He was empty. He wanted to feel alive again, so he packed a single bag, ended his lease, and left behind the skyline that had once defined him. No plan. No safety net. Just a promise to himself to find meaning. Ethan moved to a quieter part of Brooklyn, renting a tiny room above a bakery. Gone were the glass offices and catered lunches. His days began with volunteering at a local community center teaching basic computer skills to kids from low-income neighborhoods. At first, it was humbling. The kids didn't care about his resume or where he worked. They cared about patience, kindness, and attention, things he'd forgotten in the rush to climb ladders. He watched a 10-year-old girl named Aisha light up when she coded her first simple game. He saw a shy boy proudly show his mom how to use email for the first time. And somewhere in those moments, Ethan began to rediscover himself, but the journey wasn't smooth. His savings dwindled fast. Friends called him insane for throwing away a perfect career. Some nights he questioned everything, staring at the ceiling, wondering if he'd made the biggest mistake of his life. Then one evening, after class, Aisha gave him a crumpled note that read, "Thank you for believing I could do something smart." He didn't sleep that night. Not because he was worried, but because, for the first time, he felt alive. That note became the seed of a dream. Ethan began building something small, a weekend coding camp called Future Builders, where underprivileged kids could learn tech, creativity, and confidence for free. He designed flyers himself, asked local businesses for support, and even taught classes from borrowed laptops. Within a year, what began as a side project grew into a movement. Local media covered it. Volunteers joined. A small nonprofit offered grants. The once corporate-driven professional became a community leader, a man who traded metrics for meaning. But the real moment of realization came one afternoon when he stood before a group of 50 kids, each of them eager, bright-eyed, hopeful. One of them asked, "Mr. Ethan, do you miss your old job?" He paused, looking around the room. The air smelled of crayons and possibility. "No," he said softly. "Back then, I was building apps. Now, I'm building futures." Applause filled the room, but what filled his heart was peace, quiet, steady peace. The kind that comes when you're finally aligned with who you were meant to be. Years later, Future Builders expanded across states, partnering with schools and companies to give thousands of children access to free tech education. Ethan never returned to the corporate world. Instead, he became something far greater than successful. He became significant. Closing message: sometimes, losing everything you thought you wanted is the only way to find what you truly need. Ethan's story reminds us that success isn't about the size of your paycheck, it's about the impact you leave behind. Don't chase validation. Chase purpose, because at the end of the day, it's not the dream job that defines you, it's the difference you make.